So let's look at gut dysbiosis a little bit. So it's an imbalance of the microbial populations. So the microbiome, or the organisms that live in your body. And when they get out of balance, you get what's called gut dysbiosis. So it's a fancy name for an imbalance of the gut microbiome. In a healthy gut, the good organisms, the ones that you need, are in the highest population, and the bad ones, the ones that we don't want, are really being controlled. You can never really get rid of them entirely, but you can keep them under control. So the bacteria like Helicobacter, the Candida fungi, you want to keep those down, keep them low, but you never really completely eliminate them. When this gut dysbiosis happens, it's a bit like, I always think of a car park or a car park building. All of these microbes that live in your gut, they want to live somewhere. So they have to sort of park up and find a spot to live. And so think of it like a car park. When you've taken antibiotics, the microbiome is pretty much wiped out. The good, the bad, the ugly, the whole lot. So antibiotics are pretty brutal and indiscriminate. They'll just wipe everything out, which is really not such a good idea, because now you've got an empty car park, and the things that tend to come in the quickest and the fastest are the negative, the parasitic type bacteria, fungi, viruses, you name it. They'll get in there first because there's a grand opportunity. That's why it's so important to have a good course of probiotics after you've had antibiotics. So you fill up those car parking spaces really fast, and you don't leave any available for the unwanted, the bad bacteria or the bad microbes. When you've got a gut dysbiosis going on, the bad ones have taken over, they're in control, and you start to experience these symptoms. Pain in the gut, digestive disturbances, your immune systems become weakened because it's compromised. That the gut is a large percentage, the largest percentage of your immune system is housed in the gut, in the intestines. Metabolic disruptions, so you start losing a little bit of control of your metabolism and your mood. So we've all heard about the gut-brain connection. Serotonin is affected, your mood can be taken down by dysbiosis. So sure signs that your gut's out of balance. So this is something we really need to get a handle on and really need to take control of. And here are some of the other signs. We talked about acid reflux, but also leaky gut syndrome. You can see this when you look at the blood under a microscope. You'll see a lot of particles and particulate that shouldn't have got into the blood as through a leaky gut. Chronic fatigue, type 2 diabetes, so you're starting to lose control of the metabolism there. Weight gain, irritable bowel and Crohn's. These are sort of a snapshot. It's pretty common, and it's pretty disturbing when you think about just how common it is. And there's so much we can do to help get this under control. And so that's what we'll be doing next week. I'll start to talk more about the gut microbiome, the herbs and the food, and what we can do to introduce good probiotics and prebiotics and the foods and herbs we can use to do that, to take control of our gut. So I think you'll find that really interesting. And this is a great topic for the power of food and herbs and what you can do to heal yourself and really get things under control. You can't underestimate this, because I personally have a lot of experience with mainstream medical approaches that it's drastic measures and pretty much lack of any healing when it comes to restoring function and getting things working again. Whereas the natural herbal approach, you can get things sorted, especially if they're in the early stages. If things are in the later stages, there's still hope of healing. But if you get things in the early stages, there's hope of getting complete resolution from these things.